Welcome back. It's day 3 of Fredonia Con, and James is back. The illustrious illustrator, James Austin, who is the art developer for Erton and All Things Good. Well, that's pretty. It's like a little frame.
Yeah, I had done this template. I threw it on the ones from Friday and
Oh,
today.
yeah,
But
nice.
try to unify everything. It's meant to be sort of a tribute to the squid mask, but instead of the squid face, I tried to make it Vergigorn.
Yeah, I like this one.
Mm.
All right, but
But
we're
today's art. What are we doing today? Did you
today's art. Well,
decide?
you know what? I decided to take up Andy on your suggestion of a windling because I
Mm.
haven't had much reason to do windlings for the books yet, much to my chagrin. Um, so yeah, this morning I grabbed the old first edition character sheet, and just to keep it a little bit varied, because we've done two sort of very muscular dudes. We're going to take a stab uh, at our leafy windling lady here, sitting on a branch.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, and future hint for you, our new book has a whole chapter on windlings.
Oh, excellent!
So
Can't
you'll
wait.
get to practice.
So just while I was getting ready, making sure my mic was working when it didn't right away, I was sort of messing around with some ideas. So we just have a sketch of a windling, again, just a windling sitting on a branch. Has, I don't know, like a spear or something here, and like a helmet. I thought it might be fun to have sort of like a bird-like skull. So it's sort of a fun shape. And if it were like a little songbird, I feel like
Mm.
that might make a more convincing scale for the skull. I mean, Andy, maybe you can help me, or Debbie, you can help me, but I don't know. Like this dude, remembering
Yeah.
that he's about 18 inches tall, I don't know where that humanoid skull came from. I don't know what creature that could be
That's a good
for a
point.
for a character that size. So definitely trying to keep in mind the scale of the windling as we go. Um, I think I had talked yesterday about how I'd seen a bunch of art where they look like look like cavemen or cave people. Uh,
Mm.
and I sort of know windling craftsmen should be able to make the finest stuff because of their teeny little hands making the finest
Mm.
stitching ever.
Mhm.
But for cloth or leather or metal, you better remember the scale of them. Maybe they do require
Mhm.
different materials, because it would be hard to find a piece of leather that could be crafted into something
Yeah.
something sturdy for something so small. So we're going to try to keep in mind the scale of the windlings. And then this was the third idea. I don't know. I wasn't really digging this one. Sort of the cross-legged seated on a branch. The one I liked the most was this one here. So I think this is what we're gonna go with. Um, she's got this very sort of uh, I'm trying to think of the she's sort of she's in like in repose, right? She's
Yeah.
looks like she's sitting very seductively on the on the on the branch. So we're gonna try to recapture some of that. Um, and yeah, all right. And I was also haven't done any flowers yet, but I thought it would be fun to try and do, because I have the similar critique of the one up here, where like what kind of blossom, like those blossoms have got to be like a
Yeah.
quarter of an inch if she's about 18 inches tall. And the, again, scale of the leaves at any rate. So we're gonna try to keep in mind the scale of the windlings, and maybe we'll do like a flower or something up here above her,
Mhm.
to try and try to remind everybody of their teeny tiny scale. So that being said, we're just gonna
Nope.
We're just going to start going for it here. Get rid of some of these sketchy lines. One of the things I realized, the handful of times I have tried to draw a windling, one of the things I realize is frequently in fairy artwork, I take issue with the placement of their wings on their backs. Frequently see them too high, in my opinion. And this is nothing more than my opinion. But as a for instance, up here, if you just continue the line of the wing,
Bara, leave her alone. Come on.
Where is this wing going to connect to her? And it's going to be quite high, like almost like above, like up where her collarbones are. And I mean, I suppose it could work, but for me, I feel like the attachment point should be lower, sort of. We can't really see what's happening here. A little bit lower. So if this is sort of the volume of her chest and rib cage, then I feel like the wings should attach a little lower from down here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like there'd be a lot of stress on, I don't know, her neck maybe. Like if you're being pulled up by the scruff of the neck by your wings all the time. I don't know. Maybe windlings have special structures in their body that stop that from happening. But anyway, but as you notice, if we continue the line, the wing comes down and attaches much lower on her back for our purposes today.
Mm-hmm.
For windlings, I was looking at different types of wings. I actually don't know if there's like a canonical design for windlings wings. I saw a lot of these sort of like dragonfly-esque wings, which I quite like. I quite enjoy the double wings, so that's what we're going with. Have her breaking the frame just a little bit here. Give the illusion of 3D space. We're going to keep her epic super high ponytail. Almost like I can't think of what the game is. It's like Heavenly Sword or something. She's a redhead and has this like 8-foot long ponytail. So that's what we're gonna try to, and yeah, it's all like twisting in and around itself. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. Also for windlings, again, just a matter of personal preference, but for windlings, I like the really long extended ears. Elves and orcs, and actually a lot of the artwork has trolls and dwarves having pointed ears as well. Don't mind the sharp, the sharp ear. Probably elves. If I was drawing it, this would probably be an elf ear like that. And then when I do orcs, I tend to make it give it like a little nub at the end. So the orc still has pointed ears, but has like a little extra at the end. And then I don't know, I haven't really made up my mind about dwarves or elves, but yeah, I like the really elongated, the knife ears, if you'll forgive the slur.
May I give you some information about the flowers?
Yes, please.
The windlings produce a wine called Illustrious, and it is a sky blue color. And the description in Name Givers is these tiny bright blue fruits grow in shrubs. So I think if they're tiny fruits, they're going to have tiny flowers.
It could very well be. So maybe, I mean, other than the fact that those are pink, I should withdraw my objection about the teeny tiny flowers.
And there's horticulture too, where people, breed plants to get, certain kinds of plants. So I can see windlings breeding plants for smaller flowers,
Sure.
fruits and such.
Bonsai forests.
What's that?
Windlings making making forest all out of bonsai trees. So they have like trees that
Yes,
are almost the right size for them.
exactly.
Morning, all.
Good morning. How are you holding up? How's the crazy time change this weekend?
It's fine. I was only up till 3 last night. Got up at the normal time and had a morning doing a couple of things, or day doing a couple of things, and because Michelle and me do help doing some stuff in the garden, and so I've done that, and now chilling, doing a bit of writing.
Look at you.
Flipping over to another room in about 3/4 of an hour, and possibly talking to some people if anybody turns up, and we shall see how it goes.
Sounds kind of perfect.
Yep. On the whittling wings, I think they're usually dragonfly wings. I know in games I've allowed moth wings once, but that was because they were a very nocturnal goth windling.
Nice. Keep in mind, we got a lot more. I've taken it upon myself to do like a whole tree branch and flower thing now, so I just got to be careful about the time. The more stuff, the more great ideas you have to put in. Just the more time it takes.
Yeah. I like how she's looking at something.
Yeah, a little bit more. The pose is a little more, a little more active. We still have that that pop that popped hip here and the leg tucked under. But yeah, she's not. It's a little bit more engaged, a little bit more active than the source material we're referencing. So step one, we're just going to block in some of our big shapes. And I can't tell what I meant to do down here. I don't know what those lines were, so we're just going to leave them for a minute. That foot right there, so we'll give her a little bit of a foot. How did Debbie? You had a game yesterday or Friday? I can't remember. How have
Yeah.
your games been?
Yeah, it went pretty well. I had 3 players, and it's just a little game that I ran as a one-off back in 2012, and I updated it for 4th edition. So the same creatures were still in the book, so I was able to update it easily.
Excellent.
And I left something I didn't do the first time I ran it is that I did this time is I left some unresolved issues and some mysteries, clues, and I think I'm going to do a part 2
Nice.
of the adventure. So hopefully the same 3 guys will want to play that, and their characters already have the background of what happened previously.
FreedoniaCon 2027.
That's what I was thinking.
I love it. How about you, Joel? How's it going? Sorry, I feel like I got to keep the audio going. Otherwise, it's going to be very boring for people to watch. Nothing? Did we lose him? He probably went to get a cup of tea.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. I should help keep the audio going. That would be useful of me. I like that we're doing the Windling. If you didn't have something in mind, I was thinking Beastmaster.
Ah, indeed. Okay.
You
I
don't
know
usually
how
see that for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfectly valid combination. I just don't think we see it very often.
I don't know how we would represent that.
I don't know that we would. She could be a Beastmaster where she is, out there hanging
Just-
with her critters.
Right. Maybe that's what she's looking at. She's looking at her beast off camera here.
And we discussed companions on the podcast this week at FreedoniaCon 26.
There are 2 standard mounts for Windling cavalrymen. The Zoac is a bird-lizard combo, and the Kiwi is a cat-lizard combo. And it's the Zoac flies, and the Kiwi runs on the ground.
Fun. Who wouldn't want a flying mount?
Yeah, especially because Windlings can only fly for like 20 minutes at a time before they get too tired. So if they want to stay in the air, they have to have a flying mount.
Yeah, save your flying for when you really need it.
Right.
So I feel as though I've just gone and made this area overly complicated. So we're just going to fill that. We're just going to fill that in. Make the tree branch a little thicker. So the issue, what I was seeing there is there were starting to be too many little shapes in here. So we had like the tree branch had left like this little thing right in there or just above her head. And what we would end up with is too many competing parts around. Arguably, well, no, probably is the most important part of the piece is our character's face. So if we have a bunch of, so if we had negative space right up there by her face. Anyway, I think we're just creating a stronger image by putting the dark branch right beside her lighter colored face, so that her face, that contrast is really going to make it pop a lot better.
I was just thinking about the contrast you were talking about yesterday.
Exactly. So the dark eyes, I was saying yesterday, our eyes are naturally drawn to areas of high contrast. So the fact that we have this light white shape for face contrasted by the darkness of the wood means that this should be very easily an area of high focus. And just to really help her face pop, we're going to add a slightly darker area. And I mean, that's natural anyway. Everybody's chin casts a shadow on their neck, but it's just another way to add that contrast. So that so now her face is almost entirely surrounded by darker values. So it should pop out for us visually. So which way now? I guess the real next question is, where is our light coming from? The traditional take to make things look better is you should have your viewer or your camera on the opposite side of where your main light source is. This is not a hard and fast rule, but it is a good one if you don't really have a good reason to do um, to require the shadows to be on the back of your subject.
It is.
So, that being said, what that probably means is our main light source will be coming from this way, from behind her. So
If he's in a forest, wouldn't the light be more diffuse and not really have a direction, or would there still be somewhat of a direction?
I mean, it absolutely would. I mean, if one were, I mean, sorry, that is to say, I think you're correct. Getting through like a forest canopy would certainly break up any light that's hitting our subject. So we could do that a few ways. We could have, we could do like a sort of like a gobo type effect where we have like dappled shapes
Mhm.
of light over this. So it's like light coming through the trees. For our purposes, I think I'm going to go back on remembering the scale of the subject, where we're going to assume that she's actually sort of caught in one of those sort of spotlights of light
Sure, sure.
that's coming through the trees.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable. I was just curious, technique-wise, how that would change.
Oh, how diffuse light would change.
Yes, that's more like what I was trying to ask.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
I gotcha. All right. Well, amazing question. So diffuse light affects things in a few different ways. One, the shadows get softer. So there wouldn't be, so as a for instance, if it were a very hard light, she would have a very dramatic, sharp shadow under her chin for hard light versus a diffuse light. It probably wouldn't be quite as dark, and it would be much softer. It would be sort of feathered out a little bit. So let's give her some collarbones. And she will get clothing. This will not be a nude.
Oh, but come on.
Just while we're
Ross
this
isn't
18 plus,
here,
you-
and technically, I do not put these that they're for children. So take that.
there you go. Yeah.
And this is art, which apparently is different than porn. So it's perfectly okay for her to be in a nude.
Well, excellent.
We'll tell Ross
I
she
still
was
think-
watching her critters while drying off from her shower.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
With her hair done straight, so she's like an 80s, an 80s nude. You ever notice,
Right.
like, how are you in the shower, but your hair is perfectly dry? How do you... And floofed. Debbie knows what I'm
So
talking
that's why I say, Andy, just let the woman work, please.
about.
All right, so basically what we're doing here is we're picking our areas of shadow. So if our light is coming from behind her, then naturally all of the areas on her front will be in shadow, and to varying degrees as well. The farther away from the light, this is sort of common sense, but the farther away from the light you get, the darker the shadow gets. Something that not everybody knows that's a little bit interesting is the area between where the shadow meets the light. So as a for instance, so down here, we have the front of the torso rib cage area here, and then there's sort of another turn as it goes around her left side towards the light. There's a small area called the penumbra that gets just a little bit darker before it transitions to light.
I've heard of penumbra in association with eclipses.
I know the word from White Wolf. Early White Wolf used that word often.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, umbra, if I remember correctly, is Latin for shadow.
Mm.
which is where the werewolves would go to kill things,
Ah,
to
there,
the
there
Umbra.
you go.
Yeah, no, it was an old White Wolf references. C, gaming is educational. Learn about art, learn about words. Spend all your money not on liquor, drugs, and prostitutes.
Real problems.
Like when you're getting that next mini.
There you go. Actually, I think there we go. We get the front of her hip and pelvis, and we'll turn actually because the shadow actually probably goes like this. So that's all facing forward. So I'm back in drawing school. But I don't have a model to look at. I'm making this up as I go. So this
Did you like drawing from a model? Was that really different, or was it?
It was,
Just
it was a really good learning experience.
Mhm.
I think I like drawing imaginary things too much to really be
Ah,
into working with with real people. But the ability to reproduce what you see
mhm,
is a really important skill because once you're able to reproduce what you see, then if you can sort of picture it in your mind, right? If you can produce it in your mind, then you can start to draw from imagination, and even more importantly, like when I do dragons and stuff, I don't look at other artists' renditions of dragons. I look at actual like animals,
mm, mhm,
bats, cats. I really like iguanas as reference. I think their scales are really cool, and they have this fringe that sort of goes down their
mhm.
back that that I
They are
find
kind of dragon-like.
that I
Yeah.
find very, yeah. One of my favorites for faces of dragons is actually a lizard called a sun gazer, and they have this sort of pie shaped, like sort of like a wedge shaped face, kind of like this.
Called a
And I
what?
think they
A
actually
sun
a
chaser?
sun gazer, I think.
Sun gazer.
And I think they have little horns. Like I think they have like legit horns as well.
Oh,
And I like using them as reference for
okay.
dragon faces. But anyway, yeah. But once you can reproduce what you see, oh, I think there's a British Joel has put a sun gazer reference
That's what
in
I
the
was
chat.
looking for. They're
Oh,
kind of
wow. Yeah,
cool.
those are very dragon-looking.
I can't do art, but I really like finding references when James is talking about art. It's just something I like doing.
Well,
But yeah,
he's
that's just
much
really good.
faster than me. But those are wicked looking.
So I don't know how much I did it. So then, once you find something you like I'm gonna bring a Hall Out Mountain shadow again. Um, we have the fringe, like the sort of the fringe from the iguana, and then I don't know. I sort of elongated the face because the mountain shadow artwork. He's got a very long face, and he's got spikes down his nose like this.
Mhm.
Um, One of the things that I think I've decided is anytime I paint an Earth Dawn dragon, they're going to have tusks. Earth Dawn dragons have tusks now, for me at
Cool.
any rate.
As long as they don't have dentures.
That's but yeah, and the wings, like looking to bat wings for reference. I'm a big fan of Todd Lockwood's dragons. I mean, I think everybody should pay homage to Daddy Lockwood.
See, I
But
think it would
he
be really hilarious if one had had a tooth knocked out in a fight and had a prosthetic magical tooth. That could
like
be
a gold. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Um, Yes, I love that idea. Like a dragon with like a giant gold tooth would be awesome. Inscribed with runes or something.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
that'd be fun.
But who is his dentist?
I don't know, but that's a trusting relationship all
Yeah.
around. Trusting.
Um, but yeah, one of the things that Todd Lockwood does with all of his dragons is the wings. But his body, the way he does their bodies, it's more like a cat than it is like a lizard.
Hmm.
So if you sort of think of like, I've seen a bunch of dragons where they um, they have this sort of crocodilian type shape, and they've got these sort of stubby little legs. And when Todd Lockwood does them, they have the physiology more like a great cat, like a tiger or a panther, where they got these great big chests, and then they have the hind legs.
And the legs are longer too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like they're proportioned like a
Well, they always
like
look heavy. Dragons always look heavy, so makes sense to me that they would have to have stronger legs to support that weight.
And then you kind of give them a serpentine neck. And then the other thing that Todd Lockwood always did was, and maybe this was just for D&D. I don't actually know if he did like other dragons for other people, but the base of the wings always behind the front shoulder.
Hmm.
And sort of going back to sort of the best spot for wings to be load bearing while flying, I think, yeah, a little farther back, because then maybe they're not quite so svelte here. Maybe it's anyway, but a good spot at sort of the center of the body to evenly distribute the weight between the head and the chest, and versus the hips and the tail. Anyway, and that's my take on dragon anatomy, which is basically Todd Lockwood's take on dragon anatomy.
That's interesting. I read a series. It's an older series called The Dragon Riders of Pern. And people actually ride the dragons, and the dragons are about the same size. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are smaller, but and they have the wings back, and the riders ride in front of the wings, kind of on the between the shoulder and the neck.
Well, where you want a rider to be, and again, these are the weird things that I think about at night when I don't have anybody to talk to, is ideally when you are riding something, the spot on which you are riding should move the least.
Right.
Like you don't want to be sitting somewhere that's going to have a lot of movement, that's going to take a lot of work to stay on. So sort of sitting sort of like right between or just ahead of the wings is probably a good spot.
Yeah, I think they did the same in Game of Thrones as well, where they had people riding dragons.
It's a little bit different. They had Game of Thrones dragons didn't have any front legs, but same idea, 100%.
Oh, okay.
I have a personal hate of two-legged dragons. They're just wyverns.
I know that was me growing up. That's how I was able. That's how I distinguished between dragons and wyverns. Was wyverns have 2 legs and dragons have 4.
It's what heraldry tells us, and we should believe heralds.
That is true. How long has heraldry been around?
Ooh, since at least the 1800s. No, it's been quite a lot longer than that. But medieval period, certainly the rules of heraldry and the descriptions of it. If it's a this, we call it a this, which is a source of so much of the probably cross sort of pollination with bestiaries. With this is a griffin, it has an eagle's head. eagle front claws, lion back claws, lion tail type stuff, and wings. There's a whole set of, if it has this, it's a this, and a whole bunch of other things that are, if it doesn't have wings, it's something different, and so on and so forth. And yeah, dragons have 4 legs, and wyverns have 2.
Interesting.
Because there's at least 1 British cities where their coat of arms is basically a wyvern.
Hmm.
And, and then it gets weird because you get, what we'd think of as like a leopard is actually something called an ounce, and the leopard heraldically has multicolored spots and breathes fire.
Cool. That's my kind of leopard.
Because heralds are crazy.
So what we're
Yeah.
doing, here, just back to the art lesson as we continue. So basically, the softer the shadow, so the diffuse light is going to give us softer shadows. So I'm just going through here and I've done this very sort of hard line here. So we're just going to soften that a bit. And then the other thing about soft shadows is they indicate roundness in the form. So hard shadows give us, or I beg your pardon, hard shadows give us angles. Soft shadows give us roundness.
Mm.
So I feel like I've done something incorrect here. Something's not quite right, but
That's one
whatever.
of the amazing things about drawing, to me, is how you can make it look 3-dimensional.
Well, I mean, it's all trickery, right? Like,
Yeah.
try to think of it like, like an illusionist, right? We're trying to fool the eye into creating something believable. Like, the brain knows that. Excuse me, I beg your pardon. I have the hiccups now. Intellectually, we know that there is not actually, a small winged person sitting on a branch on the on on this screen, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
but the trick is, can you create a convincing enough illusion that people can go, oh, you know what? I see it. I
Mhm.
see the person.
Mhm.
So it's sort of an interesting um, play between like, I mean, like learning and understanding how light works. Um, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's almost like a physics lesson, right?
Mhm.
Um, where as a for instance, we learn about uh, global illumination or bounced lighting, where we're sort of here where we have the shape of the breast. The darkness of the shadow doesn't all go all the way to the edge of the shape, because in the
Mhm.
forest there is actually light that is reflecting from the ground, from lower leaves, that is actually bouncing up and causing little bits of illumination from below. They're just
Mhm.
much weaker than our main source of light. So our main source of light will always be the brightest, but there's always light and photons just bouncing around us constantly. So you'll frequently find in cases like this where we'll put a little bit of a highlight underneath the form, because what this is showing us is the light bouncing off of the branch and onto the form of her arm.
Oh, okay.
Physics, physics. Um, the way it was explained to me, not specifically about drawing, but when I was going to school for 3D things and I was learning about surfacing and texturing, um, was being able to analyze something and understand what makes something look hard or soft or like glass or like plastic, like what makes glass look like glass. And it was a really interesting sort of
Oh.
thought, because if you think about it, so if someone were to put, let's say eight is too many. Let's say 3 random things on a table, and you look at it, your brain is able to interpret how these things look. And you go in, like if you were asked to pick them up and just feel them, your brain is able to form predictions about what it feels like. Like if there was a brick on the table, just by how it looks, you would have a pretty good idea of what it would feel like. It's probably going to be cold. Was it left or it's not. If it was left outside, it will be cold. It will be rough. Like it's going to feel a little scratchy. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to be hard, and your brain knows this before you ever touch it. So something about the way that brick looks is giving your brain cues to anticipate how it will feel. And yeah, our job, or the skills I was trying to learn, was to figure out what those cues are, so you can reproduce it in a 3D model, or in this case, a drawing, to make it look like it's, you know, soft or hard or rough or smooth or reflective or cold or hot or fill in the blank. So it's all trickery.
Does the materials that you use change the trickery? Like ink versus paint versus electronic?
It changed it. I mean, it does, but the visual remains the same. So you might use different techniques with paint versus ink to achieve the look, but the visual, the clues remain fundamentally the same. If
Hmm.
that. So let's see where we will have our. So you know what? Probably her wings. Nice bright highlight on the wings, and the wings are slightly translucent, so we're going to get some light coming through them as well. Need to find like a picture of a dragonfly wing. It's been a while since I thought about what they are, how they work. There's probably a couple of. I should probably just go find a picture of a dragonfly wing. That would probably be best. And then we're going to get a little bit less light just right there, because the light will be passing through two wings, so we'll lose more light in that sort of area. And then we'll get a healthy dose right on the back of her neck. And trapezoid, I think, is trapezius, maybe. I can't remember. It's been a while since I thought about my anatomy classes too. A nice there. Well, all right, let's give her some clothing, because this is looking pretty good. Our reference here is not wearing a lot of clothing. So yeah, so we sort of, I don't know, do we go for the full little tree thing here? I feel like there's an opportunity. Again, we're just thinking about those windling craftsmen. There's probably an opportunity, like even if they were using leaves, there might be an opportunity to like cut out a part of a leaf rather than just using a whole leaf.
Mhm.
In which case you could still get some of the really cool patterning, but the idea is that they've somehow managed to preserve or stitch leaf together. Boy, how are those leaves staying on? Magic. thing, just like that. And then she had like, strappy bits. Oh, this was a fun thing. I actually did a handful of windlings um, in my call it my name giver sketchbook. And I very quickly realized that the fact that they have wings would really impact their fashion. Um,
Mhm.
this sort of idea. I mean, she's fine because she's barely got anything on at all. But this dude, how is the armor? Like the armor would have to be like significantly open in the back in order to allow his wings to flap, um, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just sort of the armor is closed in for better protection because he's on his mount, and so we're not planning on flying. Um, but anyway, what it ended up doing was I ended up doing a lot of windlings with like halter tops, so it would have like it would have this sort of shape, and then the
Yeah.
idea is that it just sort of goes up and around their necks, and then their just back is just like it's just wide open. I done here. There we are. We're back. So you know what? We're just gonna do that because I don't I don't know. Anti-gravity leaves bothers me a little bit, so we're just gonna
Not
keep it.
part of physics, is it?
Yeah. R, and then just make it a little darker. We'll give it leafy patterning. Still make it look like they've got some sort of border or seaming around it. I don't know. Just when doing this sort of thing, I always find I always like specific is almost always better than general. So when you're drawing like what is it made of? If you can't tell just by looking at it, then it's not specific enough. You have to come back and do a little bit more. I hadn't been keeping track of the time. Oh my gosh, I'm almost halfway through. I've been enjoying talking about the drawing too much. Trying to keep my shapes pretty clean. I'm terrible at this normally. I almost always have to go back and clean everything up. But if you work cleanly right from the get-go, you save yourself a ton of heartache down the road. But unfortunately, that does not lend itself well to going fast in a 2-hour scenario. All right, just kind of got this foresty Princess Leia thing going on here. I'm gonna go look at. Oh, come on now. Let me. Oh, and so it's just kind of a leafy, skirty thing. She's got something around her neck there, so she does have. She does have something. She also has a headband. I think I'm gonna skip the headband. That might not be. That doesn't feel. That feels like that feels like a relic of the 80s and the early 90s to me. It's almost got like an anime face here. I don't know what I've done. All right, that's working. So the leafy skirt, eh? Let's see what's to be done. Give her a band or something. So I got to shake my hand out again, get the feeling coming back. Lasted a lot longer than yesterday. I think my kid was playing with the settings on my standing desk, so I think it was.
Oh.
I think it was higher than normal.
So children were being children.
Exactly.
Exactly. It just means they like your desk. That's a good thing, probably.
That is it. What is their fascination with my forbidden desk of mystery?
Because you made it the forbidden desk of mystery. That's okay.
And the leaves, I'm not digging on the leaves. Like these leaves have
30
to be
years
so
from now,
small.
they're going to remember that hole. And then I snuck up on Dad's desk.
If there's a world where it's more like reeds or grass or something. Maybe not. It's kind of working. We'll just go with it. I'll have like a little fastener or something here. I don't know what. Talk about getting specific. We'll fill that block in later, but it's something to hold everything together. I think this arm would actually be casting a shadow. So I had left like a highlight here, but I don't think that's correct. I think this shoulder piece would be casting a shadow in here. So we'll make that a little darker.
I have a weird question.
Go for it. I love it.
So, there's a lot of tropes in fantasy. Things like pixies, windlings are very often portrayed as girls, whereas dwarves are almost always portrayed as boys. Do you find not pigeonholing those genders like that harder or easier because there's not a ton of this is how it's supposed to look?
Um, Amazing question. I actually, um, hmm, amazing question. So when I think about, I mean, generally I try not to get caught up in the tropes. I mean, present example accepted. Um, Generally speaking, my characters tend to be fully clothed, always. And again, I spend a lot of time thinking about how things work practically for them. So I try not to get too caught up in flights of fancy. Um, in terms of a lack of reference, it really comes down to, I think, I mean, well, the question that I keep on asking, like what, what makes a dwarf a dwarf? And I have done female dwarves before, um, and I think in this case, I think in the Lord of the Rings, they mentioned that lady dwarves have beards. So I don't know that I'm fully down with full beards for a female for a female dwarf, but it probably impacts. So now you got me. Now you got me going. We're gonna. But it probably impacts how their style, their culture. So if we still, if you give her that sort of classic, very wide, very stout, so just sort of generically broad. So if this is, yeah, the intent is to make this a lady. There are things that you can do to make them look feminine. So for instance, instead of a square jaw, we taper the jaw just a little bit, even with a very wide face. Um, is really breaking it down into the fundamental shape language. So for instance, females in general are portrayed with slightly larger eyes on the face, slightly smaller noses, and rounded. One of the things I learned from comic books was that men men have angles, ladies curves. Um, so if we're drawing a masculine face, everything everything is very sharp and angular, versus a woman's face um, is everything is curvy.
Hmm.
Of course, there are exceptions to everything. It's a general it's a general way to start thinking about things.
Mhm.
But so if we were to combine that, if dwarves sort of in their shape language are pretty square, they're pretty squared off. So if I were to make a lady dwarf, again, we can do things like tapering the jaw. We can give them larger eyes, or put slightly more curvy shapes on the square build. So you can give them curvy eyes mixed with a very square brow still. Um, Slightly smaller nose, but still the overall shape of the nose is very square. Give them the mouth. I think the last time I did we'll keep some angles in her ears, just so that she doesn't have, she's not entirely feminine and soft. So we got angles in her ears. And then I think the last time I did a lady dwarf, I think maybe I did it for I think it was one of our books actually. There was a female dwarf. It was supposed to be like she was sort of like a Helen of Troy situation, if I recall, where
Hmm.
there were two noble dwarves who were fighting over this dwarven woman who was supposed to be uh, very, very beautiful. When I drew her, rather than, because like I said, I wasn't super duper on board with full beards. Wouldn't mind maybe like whiskers on the side if we wanted, but I think what I had done was I'd given her these great big braids um, that like came together in the middle, and then there was like an ornament or something here, and then it kept on going down, and that's sort of like how um, just as a style or a cultural thing, they're sort of mimicking the beard, the great grand dwarven beard. Anyway, it was a thing. Um, I don't know if that actually answered the question, but I certainly blathered on for a little bit.
I think what you're
Uh,
saying is you keep the general concept of the shape, but then you adjust it accordingly. So, because the opposite could be done with the windlings. Again, a lot of times they want to present it as very feminine, but you can be a windling male swordmaster,
yeah.
which would have a
So
very different feel.
just finding that combination of still being able to do a masculine face, um, but that has some more classically feminine features. Like if we give them a very high forehead, or we'll just circles in the face, but maybe we give him an angled an angled nose, and maybe he's got very large eyes, but also has a very prominent, very strong like brow. maybe. And then she's got killer cheekbones, maybe.
I think it
But
was
yeah,
a good answer.
but ways to pointy chin, but it's still a very strong jawline, which can be associated with masculinity. And then I don't know, crazy style hair. And then he's got big ears. Anyway, so it's just finding a way to combine that masculine and feminine energy into anyway, yeah, find a way to combine the masculine and feminine energy with sort of the tropes of the fairy. So maybe if we just decided one day that maybe windlings have very long faces, so we always start a little bit elongated, and they've got big angled eyes. It's starting to look like an elf from third edition, which is maybe not a great idea. Anyway, but yeah, just figuring out what makes a dwarf look like a dwarf, and then play back and forth with the masculine and feminine visual language.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, something must have started or ended. I don't know which.
Well, Joel's British stuff.
Right.
It's probably because you are about halfway. That's okay. You have me, and I'm enjoying. So
No, I think I might have done that. Trying to find a more natural looking position for her hand. That's probably fine. Just give her. No, is that?
So do you use one of those old school little wooden figurines to help pose to get,
Um,
or I know nowadays they have like computer ones that you can drag around.
I have tried. I've never really found something that I want to use consistently. Um, it if generally I look for reference photographs, pictures of people who are, I don't know, doing skateboard tricks or riding horses or this, that, or the other thing. Generally speaking, no, I don't use the mannequins. That's not to say that you can't or shouldn't.
No. Just that, I mean, you might have enough practice, you don't need it. I know a
Oh,
lot
never.
of younger artists start with them.
Yeah. Oh, never give up on reference. Always, always, always use reference.
So what's harder?
Hmm.
Trying to figure out how the skin moves or how cloth moves?
Um, I would say skin, just because um, there is so much structure underneath the skin between the musculature and bones, and how things compress and interact with each other. I would say, well, also if you, so I would say skin, because cloth can actually be can actually be used to cover. I mean, it's also can also be a challenge, but I find when I draw people a lot of the time, well, a lot of the time, some of the time, I'm very grateful when their torsos are covered up with fabric, just because it's easier to draw fabric draped over a torso than trying to capture the musculature and compression of the of the human torso. So maybe that's why all of my characters are tend to be clothed, because I don't want to be bothered with drawing complicated tummies.
Well, every artist I've ever met has a body part that they don't like. I used to think it was all kind of like, oh, everybody hates hands, but that's too simple. Some people it's feet or noses or something.
Uh,
But there's always
hands are
some body part that just.
Yeah, hands are certainly a classic. Um, until you what I did, actually at the suggestion of my sister, um, was years and years ago when I took the subway. Um, she suggested, like, just draw, take your sketchbook on the subway and draw at least 100 hands of people on the subway. And ever since that exercise, hands haven't intimidated me nearly so much. And she said do the same thing with feet. Um, feet, I mean, I don't know, they're not necessarily a problem, but I don't find myself enjoying the time I spend on drawing feet, so I tend to ignore them. Um, but yeah, the hand, just in general, always start with a slightly lopsided pentagon. That's how you start drawing a hand, for me at any rate, because this was where we will connect to the arm, and then this is where our our index finger comes out, and then the three fingers on the side, and then this side is for the thumb. So once I started sort of understanding that structure, and like I said, doing it, like a million times on the subway, uh, hands became hands became less of a problem.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I think that's probably the best explanation of how to draw a hand I've seen.
Ah, excellent. But it's really cool. Like the pentagon works for almost any hand pose as well. So if this is where our arm goes, then we're just gonna cut in a little piece right here, and boom, it's like a fist.
Okay, that's almost magical.
So just yes. So always start with the pentagon when drawing hands. Right. Actually, I'm kind of digging this. I think she's looking pretty darn good.
I like it too.
Clean up some of the, don't necessarily need these giant black lines outlining our fairy wings. It just goes back to those clean shapes you got to think about all the time. All right.
Very pretty.
Actually, look at our reference again. What are we missing? She had stuff. She has stuff around her forearms and I think her ankles, if I recall correctly. She surely does. All right.
I mean, she's got to get dressed up a little. She's having her portrait done.
Yeah, that's it. She spent hours agonizing over
What not to wear, what to wear, you know. How often do you get professionally drawn? This lady twice, but you know.
It's above average, I'm sure.
I think so.
Oh, ourselves. Oh, that's probably too bright. Little highlight shapes. And then now it's light. Some of these sketchy lines. I think my kid was also messing with my chair. I don't know if the mic is picking it up, but it is very squeaky at the moment. All right. This there.
So I always figured that they would make clothes out of like spider webs.
Ooh, fun. Yeah. Actually,
Because
that's fun.
I would think it would make sense. Spider web
Have some.
silk cloth.
Nice. There you go. If anyone asks, she has some spider web stitching.
She has an eyeball. Good job.
Yeah, look at that.
See, I think I like the dragonfly wing spider too.
Yeah. Hello, who have we gotten back?
That's what I'm about to go look. I think I recognize that picture. But I don't want to take the screen off of, so I gotta.
Hello, mysterious stranger.
Oh, it's Mithras. It's that's
Michelle.
Michelle. British Joel's wife, Michelle.
Yes, I've had the pleasure.
She's
If that's
awesome.
the
Hi, Michelle. She's waving. She says hi. I think she's
Just-
afraid that with the microphone on, we can hear Joel in the background because
Oh,
Joel's
I
doing
see.
his British stuff.
Excellent. Oh, that's yes. I see the.
Yep.
I see the chat. That's exactly it.
There it goes.
Well, it's all right. Come join us. We are an intimate crew this morning.
Yeah, but they're missing out. Yeah, he was showing us how to do hands earlier. Probably the best explanation I've ever heard on how to do hands.
The magic of the Pentagon.
I mean, according to Schoolhouse Rock, 3 is the magic number, but for hands, it's obviously 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I said, that a lot of artists I knew had trouble with hands, but I'm sure that it's not always hands, it's sometimes feet, things like that. And he was telling us how he learned how to, and then he was showing us how to use pentagons to make hands cool. Lopsided pentagons.
Lopsided pentagons. That's
I pay attention. Sometimes.
all right. I think I said I wanted to do a flower in here. Rapidly.
Yeah, we want a flower. We're feeling very girly today, sir.
That we have a lot. Yeah, we got a lot of that
It
energy.
happens.
Princess Leia slave costume aside, we're feeling very good.
Look. A lot of male artists, a certain time period. It is what it is. Plus, Conan only had the little, loincloth.
Fair.
Eye candy
Yep.
for everybody. Equal opportunity eye candy. Okay.
Well, I mean, even in the gold bikini, there are ways to do it tastefully, to not have it be problematic. And I always aim for that.
Oh, no.
This is
I've never seen you put anything that's problematic.
well,
My stick figures are problematic. Your stuff is fine.
I'm just saying it's a thing that can happen. I generally speaking, it's not my bag. That said, if somebody came to me and said, I want like Frazetta energy, I'm like, ooh, all right. But it's not where my natural inclination
I
goes.
ran a jewelry store, and literally the owner says, if they came in and they wanted me to put a diamond in the asshole of a donkey and make it into a lapel pin, if they have enough cash, I'll absolutely go do that.
Oh, that's yes.
And I'm like, that would be a horribly, horribly not in good taste lapel pin. But I guess, yeah, if they pay me well enough, I'll
Yep.
take that order.
This reminds me of a comic I saw years and years ago. I won't be able to credit the artist, so I'm very sorry. But I'll have to see if I can find it and post it. But the idea was that a struggle that eventually every artist that takes commissions goes through, and it was somebody wanting to commission
He-Man. Sorry.
not safe, not safe for work stuff, and the guy was like, oh, I don't know, it's not really my thing, and then the commissioner says, I will pay you $2,000, and then and then in the last panel, the commissioner standing over the artist's shoulder and like, so should we make the mountain? How big should the mountain's butthole be?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, Mithras also said, not only do we have Conan, we get He-Man too.
yeah.
But yeah. When I first started going and doing conventions and working them and stuff, there was always a few artists who, like, you could tell this is their first type of con. They, like, we're talking true starving artists. True, I will buy you lunch, you make me a picture, we'll call it happy. Starving artists.
Right.
So some of the artists that are local, I have originals from because I bought them lunch when they were, 17, 18, 19, whatever it was, at the con. And there's a few of them. Oh, she's changing audio settings. There's a few of them who I know well enough that, like, I would harass them because they got bigger. They became bigger names. that
Right.
I have so many of their early pieces that there was one, I used to joke that I had the only, I don't know if I should give out his name. Anyhow, the only museum to his artwork, and he wasn't cool enough to come. And then there'd be other people because we're hollering back and forth at the small convention. They're like, I've been there. That's the Red Room, right? I'm like, yes, it is. And then they would tease him that they had been at his museum, but he still can't go. That went on for like, I don't know, 3-4 years. And he made a good name for himself. But I just had fun teasing because I've known him, because I'm old and I've known him since he was like 18-ish.
Right.
And I'd say he's probably close to 40 now. I've known him for years. But I need to frame all that stuff that I've had for years, not stored properly. I'm a very bad human. But I don't know
So
that I ever bought it for the art.
Just for fun, since we're looking at the hands now, if we look back at the lopsided pentagon idea, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our lopsided pentagon.
Yeah, pretty much, Michelle, any hand, you start with this lopsided pentagon, and then you just put the thumb and the fingers on.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I just avoid them in general because it's just, I'm a
Because they're
coward.
hard.
I'm a coward.
Yeah, but look how quick he's at this.
It's just not fair.
I know.
Just remember, this is a 2-hour drawing session, but this drawing is actually like 40 years in the making. Like, this is not, yeah.
This is not his first picture.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
You just saw the last 2 hours of the process. This has been ongoing for like 40 years.
If you're my
Oh,
art wars, we're speed driven. I'd have won.
Right. Yes. 100%.
Well, you saw the original picture of Mithras that I drew many years ago now.
Uh-huh.
When you drew the one that I've just been using as my profile picture because it's just amazing. And yeah, I hid hands and feet. Everybody was in one position, and now I do a lot more. I play around a lot more with poses and stuff, but because I tend to, I'm a bit lazy sometimes when I'm drawing people because I find a reference in a pose that I want, and I'll trace the outline and then modify that.
That's a way to do it. Absolutely. Just for what it's worth to you, I wouldn't trace just as an academic exercise. I wouldn't recommend tracing the outline. I would recommend doing one of Andy's stick figures. So for instance, if I were to try to capture this pose, I would or steal it from a photograph or something.
Okay.
I would literally do a stick figure. So there's sort of like a gesture. Like, if you can capture the basics of the pose in like one line, that is an amazing spot to start. Then a line for the shoulders are, a line for where the hips are, and then upper leg, lower leg, foot, upper arm, hand. This, I think, it's a way of analyzing the pose. I think as opposed to tracing the outline like this. How generally you can add like a circle for the volume of the upper torso. Sometimes I do a V for the pelvis. And then if we isolate this, like then going back and trying to add volume to things. It's
Yeah.
I think is a valuable way to try to learn about posing just in general.
Mhm.
Anyway, for what that's worth to you, that would
Yeah, no, it's always nice to see how well the pros do it, I guess. So yeah, I'm
but
just
I mean
lazy.
this but really it works with any pose. So here's our thing: shoulder blade, hips, upper leg, bottom leg, bottom leg. Maybe we'll even change it so he's gonna have like his arms up in the air.
Yeah.
Volume for the chest, volume for the pelvis, and then we start filling in the volume for the limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Whoops, what have I done? I went off screen. I went too far off screen.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
If you hear any burbling in the background, I have a bast on my knee as well.
Sorry, a
Okay.
bast?
It's a cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
She's my black beastie cat.
Excellent.
I offered to
But,
send her another black cat in a box. I'll poke some holes in the lid, put them.
And for some reason,
Lady Six got on to me because she's like, you won't even put a puppy on a plane. And I'm like, it's a cat. We'll put some holes in the... Actually, the
as
two
we
girls should
established,
be going to their new foster today or tomorrow. Depending on how tired I am after all this.
flower. I need to find a flower.
Calla
I'm gonna
lilies.
try a calla lily. Do those grow on trees? She's in a tree.
Okay, fine. Orchids.
More like a cherry
I
blossom.
say you'll want an orchid or something.
Orchids.
Because they grow on trees.
Yep.
Ah, all right.
Very tropical foresty.
Ah, I see. All right. I got a lot of pictures of orchids sort of straight on, which is not really what we want because we don't want it to be like a portrait of an orchid.
So
I need an orchid like
I
a
grew up,
jaunty
Michelle,
angle.
with my mom, who swears orchids are the hardest thing to get to bloom. Never gets these things to bloom. So I never got one because I'm like, I don't need a plant that's that much work. Someone got me one
3
for Mother's
downstairs
Day.
on my windowsill.
And it's already bloomed 3 times and it's going to bloom again. And I've had it not quite a year. And so I was talking to my dad and he's like, we have to do all these things. I said, you know what you have to do? Jack, forget about them. Leave them alone. They like to be abused. I forget that thing until once every week or 2 or 3. I go, whoa, I should water that. And they like it.
That style of orchid tends to grow on. It likes to grow with the roots bare to the air.
Yep.
On trees and stuff in canopies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just the more you ignore it and
The happier it
neglect,
is.
I call it, the happier they are. Yeah.
So I have those. I have 2 now, and I have an aloe plant. The aloe plant also would like to be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find the correct house plants for me. If it wants to be left alone, it's a good house plant. I do great with it.
So I'm just putting how Bast is currently on my knee in the general room chat.
Okay.
In the main room chat. So she's purring a little head off. And occasionally it gets picked up by the microphone.
Love it. Batsy is laying down in a corner away from me, but trying to make babies is very tiring. So, so we are letting her rest.
Nice.
Not that I'm an overprotective mommy.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I'm sort of cheating here. I've gotten an image off of the internet and I'm just sort of tracing around it. We have a half an hour left, which is it should be enough time, but I don't have time to I don't have that kind of time to paint 2 orchids as well as a character. So we're taking the easy road.
You're using
because
the
it's on-
tools of your trade, which
That's it.
advance as time moves forward. I don't see how this is a problem.
It's the advantage of doing it on the computer.
Yeah, you can resize things. You can make something big and then shrink it down to make it small to fit into a space, like, and still keep detail. It's really very cool what you can do.
There we go. So that's how we'll start. I like that this brush. Dawn was asking me about this brush,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really realize how much I liked it until he asked. I knew that I liked it, but I hadn't really analyzed why until he asked, "What do you have a favorite brush?" And I was like, "I actually just started using this one, and it's like I think it's just the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it has a bit of texture built into it. Like it's not just giving me flat color; it's actually giving me a little bit of texture, which is amazing. It makes things look a little less digital. It has one hard side. What have I done here? Oh, I've locked it. That's why. I have one hard side and one soft side. So it makes it a really good blender. It almost just naturally gives you a little bit of shading. Anyway, I just love it. I think it's a great brush. I wish I remember where I got it so I could try to find more amazing ones. But as I was saying yesterday, my collection of Photoshop brushes is an amalgamation over many years of accumulation. I have brushes that I still haven't used. So the fact that I don't remember what made me pick this one up, but I'm glad I did because I really like it. All right, let's go back to how are these flowers doing? They don't really, I mean, I guess they look like flowers.
Yeah, your sister's up here too.
I wonder if maybe I have a flower brush. Don't have time to go look for it.
Wait, there's a flower brush?
Oh, there could be. Like I said, I got brushes that I don't even know. Right. A little lighter. And then because these are actually closer to the light source than even our fairy is, they should be getting hit pretty intensely by the light. I've lost all sense of the flower's anatomy, I think. There were stamen in there somewhere. Just draw those back in. And maybe we'll just take the mixer brush and blend it a little bit, and hopefully no one will even notice how lazy we were about these flowers.
They'll be too busy cooing at the general art to notice. It'll be fine.
There you go. All right, how much time do I have left? I got about 23 minutes. What can I do with my 23 minutes? You know what? I think we might just to try and make it look finished. You know what, we're just going to take our last little bit of time and we're going to go in and we're going to try to add bits. Oh, actually, okay, first question, is there anything that I've missed? Anything big that I've missed? I haven't put anything on her wrists yet. So that's probably a thing that should happen. Actually, I haven't really done anything to her feet. Her feet are just little squiggles here. So let's do her feet just a little bit. It's got just a little bit of anatomy, not a ton. Like I said, I don't enjoy doing feet very much. Bring this up. That might just have to do. Is that more Joel in the background?
I don't know what it sounds like.
I think it's Joel. Or you got a parrot. Did you get a parrot?
No,
That
that would be Nigel.
That would be
That must be
Nigel.
Joel then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shut his door, but he's still quite loud.
Who was that? Somebody just came in. I heard the sound.
Yep, Maddie did. Good morning, Maddie, or evening. Good day.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
There you are.
Cool.
As if I didn't have a reason to get up early already. That is a lovely picture.
Oh, thank you. We're doing the sort of the same thing we did on Friday, where we're trying to work off the reference from the first edition Windling art. So we're working on reworking this this rather buxom lady here.
I see it.
We're just wrapping up. Maybe I'll just leave her wrists bare. That might just be better. Yeah, we'll just try to.
We've got 15, 20 minutes.
I would love to create just a few sort of little areas of focus. Just we'll try to add in, just define some of the shapes a little more, little details. Here and there. That's great.
I think it is picking up, Joel. I'll just mute again.
No, you're fine. It's barely just a little in the background. Hopefully Joel's having a good time.
He usually does.
She looks a little worried about something. I'm not sure what. Something off screen.
massive spider.
Okay.
I'd be worried if I was 18 inches tall.
Could just be a misbehaving husband.
You're probably riding a giant spider. What are you doing? Leave the spiders alone. Everybody knows you don't mess with the spiders.
Too many legs, too many eyes.
I used to say that every time I would ask about a pet when I was a kid. He's like, oh, maybe one day, but nothing with more than 4 legs and nothing with less than 2.
Yeah, well, that'll be told. Jareth has just opened the door. Enough. So, yeah, I'll go back on mute again.
No, that's right. The ponytail would be behind this wing, but in front of the other wing. Excellent. I think we did that correctly. I beg your pardon, shaking out the old hand again.
Your work's always so pretty.
Ah, thank you. Actually, will say I'm a fan of this one. I think it's turned out quite nicely.
I like it a lot.
just for the people who were here earlier, we were talking about hands. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our lopsided pentagon for the structure of the hand.
So if something canonically only has 3 fingers or 3 digits, you use a different shape.
Nope, it's the same structure. Just you only put, so here's our hand, here's where our arm comes out. Index
That was a
finger,
really good question.
Oh,
index finger, thumb, middle, ring, pinky. If it only had 3 fingers, we might make it slightly less lopsided. We might just trim that off, but then thumb and the index finger remain the same, but middle finger and pinky would go like that.
this is why I fail at art.
Because James wasn't teaching it. I told James I learned more about making hands today than I have in 30 years of knowing artists.
Maybe you will improve your stick figures.
Nah.
No,
Never gonna
seriously,
happen.
like the stick figures could have hands
You have
with
hands.
which to
Hey,
grab
the Care
things.
Bears have claws. Did you not see the random lines nearby?
I've had a great deal of trouble in the last week or two keeping up with that.
That's okay.
I need to go back and watch it, and I need the book so I can buy it.
You're only gonna buy it so you can be like, see, I told you someone would buy that.
It won't just be me.
See, a book of James's art makes sense.
That would
His
be
art's pretty.
amazing.
See, James, I told you this.
You surely did.
I mean, we've made a start because we've got a set of 5 across the top of one of our walls downstairs.
I heard.
Of
Yes.
Making me look
James's
bad.
prints.
To go.
Mine still aren't framed. I need to just frame them
Oh,
and put them up.
actually, we at the 10-minute mark here. We can drop another tease here. I don't think I have any of the bestiary open, but I showed the blood elf that I had done on Friday, and then today I have the Tiskrang open. So I'll show in just a second. I'm just going to put this shadow in here. How I'll do. I'll say. Oh, actually, maybe we need one here as well. Yes, there we go. All right, and then there.
Oh,
Really.
that's nice.
Still got some work to do. Haven't done everything with his tail yet.
But still very pretty.
Yeah, I did. I had to reread it a few times, but Scrang have ears canonically. I never really thought about it, but they do in their species description.
But 4
I don't know that
fingers.
anybody's thought about that.
So we had drawings, so I can add that. So if we said elves have basically human ears, but just a bit pointed,
Lovely pointy ears have elves.
then when I draw orcs, I tend to give them like a little nub at the end for their point. And then windlings, like our friend here, have like the full, like elongated knife ear. And then, yeah, I it was, I gave them like, they have like just almost like a little Shrek type type attachment by their head, and then it's just this little point. It looks kind of like I did it kind of like that.
You're putting this in our guide, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Cut that out and save that. Put that in the guide. Well, because it'll be easier for the artists if we have stuff like that for them.
Yeah, we'll keep it. I love the idea of keeping consistent. It drove me a little bit crazy as I was trying to figure things out. Like there's a picture of a scrying I see quite frequently where he's wearing distinctly like sort of swashbuckler humanoid boots like this, and I was like, that is terribly disappointing that they don't have like sordid reptilian feet. And then Josh said, no, they should have reptile feet. I was like, oh, good, all right. So no boots.
They should.
Yeah, shouldn't they? Should they? Absolutely should. So yes. So no more.
Maybe that artist is just like Rob Liefeld and can't draw feet. Of any kind.
That or okay. You guys heard the story about the guy who came up at Gen Con to tell us that Mountain Shadow was the wrong color? Had a business card labeling himself a master Shadowrun GM. And I couldn't figure this out. Couldn't figure it out. Morgan was with us at the time. And he's like, I know what it is. And I'm like, what? There is a picture in one of the earlier books, and the dragon labeled in the picture is Mountain Shadow, but if you read the books. So I will say that some of the artwork in the past, people weren't paying close attention to some of the details, I think. And so stuff went through in some of the artwork that's not accurate. I know you're all shocked.
It's a common one for book covers as well. It's just like, tell me you've not actually read the books, or the person who gave the artist the brief to do the books with hadn't read the books.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the Wheel of Time series, the very early covers on those, the things that are on the covers don't bear any relation to anything else that's in the books, apparently. So I'm told.
I think that James has done probably some of the best work in fixing a lot of that. And I think our modern books, the art does match, the style matches. It goes with the words, it fits the book. I think he's done a fantastic job of working with the writers to do that. I think
we certainly try. We put a lot of time and effort into making it happen.
Yes.
So I hope that is the case.
I think it is. I think you've greatly improved that. You've only got a couple of minutes left.
All right. Well, I think then we can probably call her basically.
I will say your orchids came out better than I thought they were for a moment. Just being honest.
Oh, you didn't you didn't have faith. That's okay.
But I was wrong. That counts. I should have had faith.
That's just put weird shapes on her feet. I don't know why. All right, let's grab the template and move it up to the top. Oh, not quite to the top because I wanted her wing to be in front of that. And the flower too. Oh, look at me. So let's turn that off. We'll grab this and we'll grab this and we'll duplicate it. Move it above the template, turn it back on, and then we'll just erase the bits. So now she's sort of breaking the fourth wall here a little bit. All right. Oh, I can't believe I did that. All right. Sorry. One more thing.
Okay.
This is called a tangent right here, where the two shapes meet perfectly. You should never ever have it leave a tangent. Just one needs to be distinctly in front of the other for it to work. Otherwise, it's compositionally not a good thing. All right. I think that's all she wrote. I think that's all the
I
time I
think she's
have.
beautiful. I will let you say goodnight, and then I'll stop your stream.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great time. I hope you've seen all three of the drawings. Actually, I can recap here really quick. We've done an obsidian for Matthew, and note that was some doodling earlier. Where's my? Oh, there he is. We did the orc first on Friday night. We did the obsidian. Now a windling. Thank you very much for coming with me on this wild journey.
Thank you,
Thank you.
James.